Strictly for the gamers. Gamers. Yeah, man, we're good at. Strictly for the gamers. Strictly for the gamers. Strictly for the gamers. Strictly for the gamers.
What's going on, you guys? Your boy Lone Wolf, and welcome back to another video. I want to talk down my thoughts on the Capcom fighting collections. If y'all joined my live stream and watched me play the game, y'all pretty much saw my reactions, my thoughts, and also I want to break down what I actually really think about the collection. I have to say, has to be one of the best Capcom fighting collections I've ever played. I have to say, like, I really was looking forward to this, and definitely mainly it was mostly because I wanted to play Red Earth finally. Because I played Red Earth in the past as a kid, but I never actually had a copy of it. Well, it was never came out for the home consoles; it only came out for the arcade. So actually able to actually have the chance to actually play Red Earth instead of actually watching it, really. Because I want to scratch that. I never actually played it. I actually only watched it on the people playing it, but I never got a chance to play it because it never actually came out for the consoles. So to imagine my hype when actually hearing that Red Earth has come back and also coming in and being a part of this Capcom collection and actually having the opportunity to actually sit down and actually play the game was definitely a very nostalgic. And actually listening to the Capcom music and being actually a part of Capcom in such the mid and late 90s, and also the early 90s when video games was like the golden era, when Capcom and SNK and Sega was going big. So my first thoughts of this game is that this game comes with many different varieties. You got Red Earth, Darkstalkers, Night Warriors, and Vampire Hunters, Cyberbots, Pocket Fighters, Street Fighter Puzzle Fighters, and Cyberbots. The game had a good variety, And the best part about this Capcom fighting collection is that with 10 Capcom classic games, you can actually choose what game version you want. Either you play the English version or the Japanese version, and it's cross-region matchmaking. And also, you could actually stand by while playing online and also look through the museum as standing by, or you could play the game while you are standing by. And I like that. I've always been trying the in-game mostly, just to play, just to kill time until, you usually get interrupted during the game. So you play the game, like, say for instance, I play in Red Earth, right here, which is like this was kind of like really really shocking, So I was getting my butt whooped and everything after all. And Red Earth was definitely one of the games that I've always anticipated wanting to play, always, And I have to say the game was a little challenging. I could understand people were saying that the game was challenging. Well, it's not too much of a challenge. I guess I have to say people kind of like over exaggerated it, because I guess what it is that, when you play these games, like since you were a kid, you pretty much already have an idea. Because not everyone can actually agree the fighting game community has become really kind of like really political at some point, But also you could say that fighting games now are becoming more expensive, and now supers and attacks are just one button mashing. Compared to like the fighting games back in the day, you actually had to pull off combos in this game, So it was just like it was one of those moments, And I have to say, like, the Red Earth was definitely one of the games I've always wanted to play. It was very anticipating, and I played the whole entire game with Kenji, and because Kenji was definitely one of my favorite characters, I went straight for the ninja because I've always been had like such a huge obsession with shinobis or ninjas, back in the day when I was a kid, and of course I still have a biggest obsession with them. So yeah, and best part about it is that Red Earth has this RPG component where you could just level up every time you fight a boss in this game. And the multiplayer on this game is very impressive because like you could definitely fight against other players online. So I like the fact that you are able to, like, while playing in game motion, you get to play with other characters. So but pretty much you fight bosses and you get to the whole level ups. And I like the whole the grab. The game was definitely really good. I definitely was definitely a very impressive. And then I liked one part about the fighting collection is that you get to when you play the in game, you get new players actually jumping in and interrupt your fight. And at some point times it gets pretty annoying at times because when you're actually playing the game, like you like, damn it, man, you don't want to lose your progress. But I do like the fact that people just interrupting your game, and then when just because basically you're only on standby. And so I pretty much would recommend people who already beaten the game and pretty much play through the game on whether it's Cyberbot, Street Fighter, or Puzzle Fighters. Just you just beat the game, play your game, and pretty much once you don't feel like playing the game all over again, you could just play it until it's just standing by until someone hops in to your game. Yeah, I do like the whole level up mechanics on Red Earth, and very very good, very really really good. I was definitely what I expected. And then you got other variety of games, like Pocket Fighters or Street Fighter Puzzle Fighters, which was definitely a cold classic. I have to say that it felt so good playing Street Fighter Puzzle Fighters. I haven't played Puzzle Fighters since the Sega Saturn days, man. And I have to say, like, they definitely kept it pretty much the same, like a pixel. So it's like a blast from the past. So it was definitely really, really very fun to actually go back in time and actually go through it. But yeah, playing Pocket Fighters was definitely one of my very, very, really good games that I used to play when I was a kid with my brother. You know, yeah. But the one thing definitely I really was definitely looking for, and I find myself playing mostly, is definitely Puzzle Fighters, Street Fighter Puzzle Fighters with the Darkstalkers. I mean, I call it Street Fighter Puzzle Fighters because you pretty much got more Street Fighter characters than Darkstalker characters. Well, not necessarily because you got 4 Street Fighter characters and you got 4 Darkstalker characters, and then you got Devilot and you got Goki, which are like secret characters. And which that's one of the things I like about the fighting collections. I like that you pretty much have you automatically unlock the secret characters in this game, and like you because usually you just pull up a code or stuff like that back in the 90s, and you just you have to figure it out how to get the secret characters. But now they pretty much give you the secret characters. But Puzzle Fighters, I definitely find myself playing mostly off this collection because it's just so much fun. It's like definitely a real huge throwback of the Sega Saturn days. Especially when you're playing as Puyo Puyo back in those days. If y'all remember, if anyone of y'all born in the 90s, y'all played Puyo Puyo, y'all know what Puyo Puyo is. Yeah, that's one of the games, one of my faves right there. And then find myself playing Darkstalkers. The original. The Sega Saturn is kind of pretty much different from the Sega Saturn version of, obviously, because it's a little more upgrade. Obviously, you see it pretty much looks the same to me how I remember it in the Sega Saturn days. Because it definitely did increase the quality of this old. Because if you pop in the Sega Saturn versions of Darkstalkers, you could say that sucker did age very well. Those games was just really old. So pretty much porting it to the new generation games and systems and consoles is definitely definitely can see the difference. Especially when you see playing Bushiman, Morgan, or Dimitri. So it was definitely a good blast from the past to actually play Darkstalkers, because Darkstalkers definitely needs a huge reboot, which we all still waiting for a new Darkstalkers game, because since now, I won't be surprised if they do, because Street Fighter is coming back. Well, it's always been coming back, and also, but what I mainly say is Samurai Showdown, King of Fighters 15. These games, I wouldn't be. It's just like Darkstalkers is just the only thing that's just waiting to be coming out, And then you have to tell me, we have Cyberbots, Cyberbots was definitely one of the cult classics in the old days. Yeah, Cyberbots was definitely one of those games that been pretty much like underground. Like not a lot of people would even hear about Cyberbots unless you were born in that era, in the golden era in the '90s, back in the Sega Saturn days. But Cyberbots was like, you have like you playing with many characters like Jin, who you pretty much see in Techromancer. She feels good hearing the whole commentary of the battle coming in, and just hear the sound effects and old Capcom music. The music was definitely a great blast from the past. I just cannot stop talking about it, and also stop talking about how much is so far from that. And then of course you got Street Fighter. You got Street Fighter 2, which pretty much you definitely have the choice of playing Super, Turbo. Like it's got all the versions of Street Fighter. So when you go into the character selection, you got support, Super, Turbo, and so on and so forth. And you see the different many versions of it, which I like how they installed that into the fighting collection. I'm not completely sure if they already done that with the old other ones of the other anniversaries, but that was one of the things I like how they do it, because you see the different versions of Street Fighter that's coming through. And then I want to talk about the Fighter Awards and the museum. Dude, very, very good. This is definitely, I love the artwork. And also, you can actually see the paintlet. You can play the music on this game. Just like it was just an amazing collection. Definitely one of the best collections I've ever played. And just watching the artwork and the gallery, like Red Earth, Darkstalkers, Cyberbots, Gym Fighters, all so forth, and then also the Capcom Fighting Collection artwork. And you see artwork from when games were actually in development, and also how like the cover art, when you pick up a game and it's when you see the front and the back of it, the artwork was definitely beautifully made, man. I especially like say for instance, perfect example, Red Earth. I was just like nostalgic of it, and then you see the artwork of the character selections and pretty much so forth. Like the collection was so good. I was not even like I was just appalled. Like I found myself just playing this game a couple of times and playing online with other people, and the rollback netcode was phenomenal on this. Like no, I had no issues with it. I mean, I've heard that people had issues with it. I think it was pretty much on the only issues they had was on the stream. But I played this on the PS5 and I had no issues. I had no lags, no cut ups, no nothing, like no issues at all. The game was just the online game was just gameplay was just so phenomenal. Like I had no issues with it at all. So Capcom Fighting Collection is definitely one of my most favorable my favorable fighting collections I've ever picked up and actually had the opportunity to actually pick it to actually grab a copy of. I heard that it was pretty much sold out. Luckily, I was able to pick up a copy, and it was the pretty much the last one. Um, Definitely, if y'all guys are thinking about picking up a copy of the Fighting Collection, definitely must buy. Definitely worth your collection. Definitely worth picking up if you definitely love Darkstalkers, Cyberbots, Cap, and Red Earth, and Street Fighter. If you're definitely an old head, this collection is definitely for you. If you're definitely a hardcore gamer back in the early '90s, mid and late '90s, this is definitely for you, man. It felt so good to actually go back in the past and play these games. Definitely must buy. I just no words of it. I just can't take. I'm just appalled, especially of the artwork, the museum, the music. It was definitely worth the money. definitely worth the money. Definitely worth the $40. I'll definitely give this collection a 9 out of 10. Definitely a must buy. And it's just I'm just so speechless, man, because I really had so much fun with this fighting collection. It was just definitely one of definitely the best fighting collections I've ever picked up. And it's just you never hear that from me as often. But anyway, you guys, this is your boy Lone Wolf. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I will see you on the next one. This is Lone Wolf signing out.